Dear learner, I welcome you all to the MOOC on the Principle of Electrical Sciences. I am Dr. Sanjay Agrawal, Associate Professor in Electrical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Dear learner, in previous session we discussed three-phase transformer, its advantages, disadvantages and connection of the three-phase transformer. We have also discussed alt efficiency and classification of the transformer in previous session. In this session we would discuss electrical machines. As you know, there are different electrical machines like DC machines. In DC machine there are two type of DC machine can be considered, like DC motor and DC generator. And the another type of electrical machine are three-phase induction motor, single-phase induction motor and synchronous motor. Dear learner, in this particular session we would discuss construction and working principle of DC generator. As you know, the rotating electrical machines are the electromechanical energy conversion devices. When these changes electrical power into mechanical, then the device is said to be function as a motor, and when the device converts mechanical power into electrical, then it is said to be act as a generator. Although battery is an important source of the DC electrical power, it can supply a limited power, but there are some applications where large quantity of DC power is required. For example, electroplating, electrolysis, and at such places DC generator are used to deliver power. It has been seen that AC motors are mostly applied in the industry for the conversion of electrical power into mechanical power. However, at the places where wide range of speeds and good speed regulation are required, such as electric traction, DC motor have to be applied. In short, we can say that DC machines have their own role in the field of engineering. In this session, we will get an understanding of construction and working of DC machines. So first of all, we have to understand what is electromechanical energy conversion system. So here you can see in the block diagram a system that makes possible the conversion from electrical energy to mechanical energy or from mechanical energy to electrical energy is called an electromechanical energy conversion system. So depending upon the conversion of energy from one to the other, the electromechanical device can be named as a generator or motor. So now we have to understand what is a generator. An electromechanical device, or you can say electrical machine, that converts mechanical energy or power into electrical energy or power is called generator. So here you can see in the block diagram, so here you can see in the middle block it has been shown as a generator, or here mechanical energy is being converted into electrical energy, so that's why it is called generator. Generator are used in hydroelectric power plant, steam power plants, diesel power plants, nuclear power plants and automobiles. In these power plants, various natural sources of energy are first converted into mechanical energy, then it is converted into electrical energy with help of the generators. Now we have to understand what is a motor. An electromechanical device or electrical machines that convert electrical energy into mechanical energy is called motor. Electrical motor are used in two ways you can understand. First is a driving industrial machines, for example hammer presses, drilling machines, lathes, shapers, blowers for the furnace, etc. And second application of the electrical motors can be understood in domestic appliances, for example refrigerators, fans, water pumps, toys, mixers, etc. Now we have to understand the construction of the DC machine. So here you can see in the diagram, construction wise both DC generator and DC motor are same. Our DC machine has four essential parts. First is field system, second one is a armature, third is a commutator and fourth one is a carbon brushes. Here you can see in the diagram, the lower part is a feet on which this DC machines are placed, and outer part is basically called yoke, or it is called magnetic frame. In the middle part is basically armature, and here you can see the poles and pole shoe, and between the pole there is another thing that is called interpoles, and here you can also see the commutator which converts AC to DC or DC to AC. Now we have to understand the field system. In DC machines, the field magnet provide uniform magnetic field surrounding the armature. Generally, electromagnet are preferred in DC machine in place of permanent magnets. The field magnet consists of the following part. First is yoke, and the yoke is also called magnetic frame. Second one is a pole core and pole shoes, and third is a magnetic coils. Magnetic coils is basically it is armature coil or field coils. Now we have to understand what is that magnetic frame or yoke. The outer cylindrical frame to which main poles and interpoles are fixed and by means of which the machine is fixed to the foundation is called the yoke. Now we have to see what are the function of these yoke or magnetic frame. The function of yoke are as follows. The first function of yoke is it provides mechanical protection to the inner part of the machine, and second function of yoke is it provides a low reluctance path for the magnetic flux. The material used for the yoke is made of cast iron for smaller machines, and for the larger machine it is made of cast steel or fabricated rolled steel, since these materials have better magnetic properties as compared to the cast iron. Now we have to understand what is a pole core and pole shoes. Here you can see in the figure the laminated pole core and pole shoe. The pole core and pole shoes are fixed to the magnetic frame or yoke by bolts. The function of pole core and pole shoes are: first is they support the field or exciting coil. Second, they spread out the magnetic flux over the armature periphery more uniformly. Since pole shoes have larger cross-sectional area, so the reluctance of magnetic path is reduced. Material used for this pole core and pole shoes are: the pole core and pole shoes are made of thin cast steel or broad iron laminations that are riveted together under hydraulic pressure. The lamination is done to reduce the power losses due to the eddy current. Next part of the DC machines are magnetic coils or field coils or exciting coils. Here you can see in the figure the connection of the field binding. To set up in the flux in the magnetic circuit of DC machines, the magnetomotive force, or you can say MMF, is required. An electromagnetic is formed by the field or the magnetic coils which are supported by the pole core. The magnetic flux produced by this MMF is developed in these magnetic coils. When DC is passed through the field binding, it magnetizes the poles that produce the required flux. The field coils of all the poles are connected in series in such a way that when current flows through them, the adjacent poles attain opposite polarity. In series field machines, the field coil is made of thick wire of copper with less turns, and for the shunt field coil, many turns of the fine wire are used. A proper binding of coils are dipped in insulating varnish. After proper binding of coils, these are dipped in insulating varnish to provide mechanical strength and better insulating properties. Now we have to understand what is the function of armature. So here you can see the armature core. Basically armature core is cylindrical in shape and keyed to the rotating shaft. At the outer periphery, slots are cut as shown in the figure, and they accommodate the armature winding. The armature core serves the following purpose. The first purpose is it houses the conductor in the slot, and second is it provides an easy path for the magnetic flux. Since armature is a rotating part of the machines, reversal of the flux takes place in the core, hence hysteresis losses are produced. So to minimize these losses, silicon steel material is used for its construction. The rotating armature cuts across the magnetic field that induces an EMF in it. This EMF circulates eddy current that results in eddy current loss in it. So to reduce these losses, armature core is laminated, or you can say in other words, we can say that about 0.3 to 0.5 mm thick stampings are used for its construction to reduce the eddy current losses. Each laminations or stamping is insulated from each other by the varnish layer. Now we have to understand armature binding. The insulated conductor housed in the armature slot are suitably connected. This is known as armature binding. The armature binding is the heart of a DC machine. It is a place where conversion of power takes place, that is, in case of generator, mechanical power is converted into electrical power, while in case of motor, electrical power is converted into mechanical power. There are two types of armature bindings. First is a lap binding and second is a wave binding. In case of lap binding, the conductors are connected in such a way that the number of parallel paths are equal to the number of poles. So if machine has P number of poles and Z number of armature conductor, then there will be a P number of parallel paths and each path will have Z upon P conductor in the series. In this case, the number of brushes is equal to the number of parallel paths, out of which half of the brushes are positive and remaining half are the negative. Now we have to understand wave binding. In wave binding, the conductors are so connected that they are divided into two parallel paths irrespective of the number of the poles of the machines. So if machines has a Z number of armature conductor, there will be only two parallel paths each having Z upon 2 conductor in series. In this case, the number of brushes is equal to 2, that is number of parallel paths. Now another part of DC machine is a commutator. So commutator is an essential part of the DC machine. It is placed between armature and the external circuit. It has cylindrical shape and approximately same diameter as an armature. The binding ends of the armature are directly soldered to the commutator segments. The armature coils are connected with the commutator, which in turn gets connected to external circuit through carbon brushes sliding on commutator. The function of commutator are it completes electrical circuit by connecting the rotating armature coils and the stationary electrical circuit. Second function of commutator is in generating action it works as a rectifier which converts generated alternating current voltage into DC voltage. Third function of commutator is in motoring action it reverses the direction of DC current to maintain the torque in same direction. Now we have to understand what are the material of the commutator. Commutator is made of a large number of edge-shaped segments of hard drawn copper. The segments are insulated from each other by thin layer of mica. The segment of commutator is made of copper and insulating material between segments is mica. Next part of the DC machine is brushes. So we have to understand what are the function of the brushes. The brushes are pressed upon the commutator and form the connecting link between the armature binding and the external circuit. The brushes are held in particular position around the commutator by brush holders and rocker. Material used for the brushes is basically they are usually made of high grade carbon because carbon is a conducting material and at the same time in powdered form it provides imbricating effect on the commutator surface. Now we have to understand what is the function of brush rocker. Brush rocker holds the spindles of the brush holders. It is fitted on to the stationary frame of the machine with nut and bolts. By adjusting its position, the position of the brushes over the commutator can be adjusted to minimize the sparking at the brushes. Next part of the electrical machine is end housings. End housings are attached to the end of the mainframe and support bearing. The front housing support the bearing and the brushes assemblies, whereas the rear housing usually supports the bearing only. Now we have to understand the function of bearing. The ball or roller bearing are fitted in the end housing. The function of bearing is to reduce friction between the rotating and the stationary part of the machine. Mostly high carbon steel is used for the construction of bearing as it is very hard material. Now we have to understand the function of the shaft. The shaft is made of mild steel with a maximum braking strength. The shaft is used to transfer mechanical power from or to the machine. The rotating parts such as armature core, commutator and cooling fan are key to the shaft. Now we are going to discuss the working principle of DC generator. According to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, whenever a conductor is placed in a varying magnetic field or conductor is moved in a magnetic field, an EMF gets induced in the conductor. The magnitude of induced EMF can be calculated from the EMF equation of DC generator. If the conductor is provided with a closed path, the induced current will circulate within the path. In a DC generator, field coil produce an electromagnetic field and the armature conductor are rotated into the field. So, an electromagnetically induced EMF is generated in the armature conductor. The direction of the induced current is given by the Fleming right hand rule. So, here you can see in the diagram that there is a two magnets which have north pole and south pole, and armature conductor is moving in between the magnetic field of these magnets. So, as conductor start to move, so it cuts the magnetic field. So, as you know, as per the Faraday law, as rate of change of flux induced EMF, and this direction of the current can be found out by the apply the right hand rule. So, here you can see, just you take the direction of the magnetic field it from north to south pole. So, you can apply the Fleming right hand rule in this way. Like suppose you are applying this rule. So, this finger will show the field of the magnetic field and this thumb is showing the direction of the conductor. So, this conductor is moving from lower side to upper side. So, this thumb is showing the direction of the conductor. So, this finger will show the direction of the current current produced in the coil. So, by this way you can apply the right hand Fleming rule. Now we are going to discuss EMF equation of DC generator. The induced EMF can also be calculated by taking statically induced EMF relations like Faraday's law. The induced EMF in conductor is directly proportional to the rate of change of flux linked with the conductor. So, as per Faraday law we can write E is equal to d phi over dt. So, this d phi over dt is what? It is basically rate of change of flux. So, you consider in the DC machine, like you consider as P is the number of poles, N is the speed of rotation in the armature in RPM, Z is the number of total conductor in the armature, phi is the flux per pole in Weber, and A is the number of parallel path of the armature conductor. And this number of parallel path depend on the type of the binding, whether it is a lap binding or it is a wave binding. So, the flux linked with the conductor in revolution is equal to what? It is a flux per pole multiplied by number of poles. So, time taken in one revolution can be written as 60 upon n second. So, EMF induced per conductor in one revolution can be found out as, because E is equal to what? E equal to d phi over dt. And what is the value of this phi? That is a P into phi. And time is what? Time is 60 upon n. So, you can write E equal to P phi upon 60 upon n, or you can write E equal to P phi N upon 60. The average EMF induced in DC machine is always equal to the EMF across each parallel path. So average EMF across each parallel path equal to E, and it can be written as E equal to EMF induced per conductor in one revolution multiplied by number of conductor in parallel path. So you can write E equal to P phi N upon 60 into Z upon A. So number of parallel path depend on the type of the armature binding, as I have already told you that for the wave bound armature A equal to what? A equal to 2, and for the lap bound armature A equal to P. So in case of generator, the average EMF is known as generated EMF, and in case of motor, this EMF is known as back EMF, and generally it is denoted by E suffix B. So we can write E equal to P phi N upon 60 into Z upon A, and this E can also be written as E equal to K phi N, where K is what? K is equal to P Z upon 60 into A, where P is the number of poles, Z is the total number of armature conductor. So we can say EMF is directly proportional to the flux per pole, and E is directly proportional to the revolution per minute, that is a N. N is generally denoted in RPM, or you can say E is directly proportional to phi omega, where omega is what? Omega is equal to 2 pi N upon 60. So we conclude that induced EMF is directly proportional to flux per pole and speed. Moreover, the polarity of the induced EMF depends upon the direction of the magnetic field and the direction of the rotation. If either of the two is reversed, the polarity of induced EMF, that is brushes, is reversed. However, when both are reversed, the polarity does not change. Now we are going to discuss two examples on the basis of the EMF equation of DC generator. So question is, a 4-pole lap bound armature has 144 slots with 2 coil sides per slot, where each coil has 2 turns. If the flux per pole is 20 milliweber and the armature rotates at 720 rpm, then what is the induced EMF in case across the armature, and second case is across each parallel path. Now we can solve this question. So just first step is you extract all the parameter given from the question. So here you can note down that number of poles are given as 4, and number of parallel path is equal to number of poles because it is a lap bound, and flux is given as a 20 milliweber. So you can write phi is equal to 20 into 10 to the power minus 3 Weber, and speed is given, that is capital N is equal to 720 rpm. So number of slots is equal to what? 144 with 2 coil sides per slot, and each coil has 2 turns. Therefore, total number of armature conductor can be written as 144 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, so it comes equal to 576. So as you know, the induced EMF across the armature is equal to what? It is equal to P phi N 60 upon Z upon A. So just you put the value of all the parameter given in this expression. So value of phi is what? 20 into 10 to the power minus 3. Z is what? 576. N is 720 rpm, and P is, that is number of poles, is equal to 4. 60 is a constant, and number of parallel path is equal to 4. So just put the value and you solve it. So induced EMF across armature comes 138.24 volt. So voltage across each parallel path is equal to what? It is 138.24 volt. Second example is, the EMF generated by 4-pole DC generator is 400 volt. When armature is driven at 1200 rpm, calculate the flux per pole if the wave bound generator has 39 slots having 16 conductor per slot. So as you know, the induced EMF can be written as E is equal to P phi N 60 into Z upon A. So here poles are given as a 4, and generated voltage is what? It is a 400 volt, and speed is 1200 rpm, it is given, and number of armature conductor is equal to what? 39 into 60, because each slot have 16 conductor. So total number of armature conductor is equal to what? 39 into 16, that comes equal to 624. And number of parallel path is equal to what? It is equal to 2 because the binding is a wave binding. So by this formula you can also calculate the flux per pole. So phi can be written as E into 60 into A upon Z and P. So just put the value of E, that is 400, value of parallel path, that is 2, Z is equal to 624, N is given as a 1200, and number of poles P is equal to 4. So just putting all these value, and after solving, the flux per pole comes 16 milliweber. Dear learner, so in today's session we discussed construction and working principle of DC generator. At the same time we have also discussed the EMF equation of the DC generator. Hope you were able to learn the concept. In the next session we would discuss types of the DC generator, like separately excited generator, and under self-excited DC generator, series bound, shunt bound and compound bound generator would be discussed. Thank you very much.